Hello friends, this is Professor Sanjay Daf here again from Pune division. Today in this video, I'm going to discuss few programs in which either we require one counter or no counter. In my last video, we have seen two programs in which we have used two counters. We know that each and every assembly language program is divided into three parts: the initialization part, second is the actual logic of the program, and the result part. Now in initialization, it is very important to decide how many counters are required and how to initialize those counters. In actual logic of the program, just one or two key instructions are there which decides the logic of that particular program. And in the result, sometimes you are asked to store the result in some memory location, and sometimes it is asked to store at the end of the block. When you are asked to store it at the end of the block and the length is given in some memory location, then we cannot use STA instruction to store the result. But when you are asked to store the result in some specific memory location and the memory location is mentioned in the statement, then there we use STA instruction, which you already seen in my last video. Now today we are going to see few programs. Let us go to today's program. Look at the statement here. Write an assembly language program to separate the two nibbles of an 8-bit number stored in memory location 3500H. Add these two nibbles and store the sum in the memory location 4500. Now, from this statement, what we understand, in this only one byte is given. 8-bit number means it is 1 byte. Okay, so 1 byte is given and we require counter when more than 2 bytes are there. When more than 2 bytes are there, then only we require the counter for bytes. Now in this case, since only 1 byte is given, we don't require counter per byte. Secondly, you are asked to add the nibbles. Now first you will have to understand what is nibble. Nibble is nothing but individual digit of a byte. For example, here in this case, I have taken a byte as 76. This is an 8-bit number, hexadecimal number 76. So in this, there are two nibbles. The first nibble is 6 and the second nibble is 7. This 6 is called lower order nibble of the byte and 7 is called higher order nibble of the byte. Okay. Now in the program, it is asked to add these two nibbles. So when we add these individual digits of a number, then we don't require counter for carry also. We require counter for carry only when 2 bytes or more than 2 bytes are added. Now in this case, since 2 nibbles means 2 individual digits are asked to add, in this case, we don't require counter for carry. So from the statement, we don't require counter for number of bytes since only 1 byte is there, and we don't require counter for carry also because we are adding 2 digits of a given byte. So since we don't require counter, we don't initialize counter because it is not required. And let us come to the statement. The very first statement here in this case is Alexa. Why? Because your byte is given in 3500. So Alexa H3500 means HL pair will be loaded with 3500. And the byte which is stored at 3500, that will have to move to the accumulator, because without moving it to the accumulator, you cannot do any processing. So you'll have to move it to the accumulator. Move A, M. Now why M? I already explained in my last video also, but again here M, because your address is given in HL register pair. The byte which is stored at 3500 that we have mentioned in, or we initialize HL pair with 3500. So this is the memory. Since the byte is stored in memory, that we bring it to accumulator by using the instruction move A, M. So your byte is in accumulator. Now in the program is the addition of two digits. So two digits of this 76 is, first digit is 06 and the second digit 07. Okay, digit is 6 and 7. So 6 we write as 06 and 7 we write as 07 in hexadecimal. So how to get this 6? So you'll have to use instruction ANI0FH. So what is this ANI? This is logical and immediate. Logical and immediate. 0F with the contents of accumulator. Now here 76 is there in accumulator and the instruction is 0F. So 0F how we express? Now 76 can be expressed like this. Each digit is expressed as a group of 4 bits. Each digit, or we call it as a nibble also. Each nibble is expressed as a group of 4 bits. So this 6 can be expressed as 0110. Similarly, 7 can be expressed as 1110. Okay, and when we write ANI0F, this is logical AND. So 0F is written as 0. Again here 0 is expressed as a group of 4 bits. So 400000 and F is 1111. Now since this is AND gate, we know that in AND gate, if input is any one input is low, then the output is low. If both the inputs are high, then only the output is high. So in this case, first case 0 1, it is 0 because one input is 0. Second, both are high, so 1 1 1. Again 1 1 1. Again 0 1 0. And here all 4 zeros are there, so here all are 0. Now this number here, the byte which is there in accumulator, after using this ANI instruction, will get 0 0 0 0 0 1 1 0. And this is nothing but your hexadecimal 6. So we have separated 06. We got the first nibble in accumulator. After this ANI0F, you get the first nibble, which is nothing but 6 as 06 in accumulator. This 06 will have to add to 07. So first we move that content 06 of accumulator to some other register because we need this for the addition. So I moved that content that is 06 from accumulator to B. Now in B, I am having the 06. And now again, I want to get that 07. So how to get it? Again, bring the original byte, which is your 76 in accumulator again. So by using instruction move A, M. So first byte will come to accumulator here. And now after this, we use 4 times RRC instruction. This is rotate accumulator right without carry. Rotate accumulator right without carry. So what will happen? Now this 76 is your byte. Now why 4 times only RRC? Because we know that each nibble is expressed as a group of 4 bits. So 4 bits you have to rotate. Now when you rotate these 4 bits for this, then here in this case, what will happen? This 0, when first time RRC executed, then the 0 will go from D0 to D7 and all these bits will be shifted 1 bit right. Similarly, second time, the second bit will go to D7 and it will be shifted 1 bit right. So this way, 4 times when you rotate this, then you will get this byte, which is means the higher order nibble will become the lower order nibble and lower order nibble becomes the higher order nibble. Okay, so your 76 becomes 67. And again, we use the instruction ANI0F. So what will happen here in this case? Again, ANI0F 00001111. This is again AND gate. So 111, 111, 111 and 010. Because we know that in AND gate, if any one of the input is low, then the output is low. If both are high, the output is high. So after this ANI0F, you get 07 in accumulator. 07 in accumulator. And this is your second nibble. And the first nibble, we have already stored it in B. So that nibble we add to accumulator by using the instruction add B. So when you write add B, the contents of register B. What are the contents of register B? 06, which we have already moved here to B. So 06 will get added to 07 in accumulator and the result is stored in accumulator. So after this add, you will get the result, which is nothing but 0D. In this case, I have shown here the addition 06 plus 07. 06 is expressed as 0000. This 0 expressed as group of 4 zeros, and the 6 is expressed as group of 4 bits again 0110. Similarly, 7 is also here 0000 and 0111. When you add these two, this is binary addition. 0 plus 1 is 1, 1 plus 1 is 0, carry 1. So 1 plus 1 plus 1 is 1. Again, there is a carry 1. So this will be 1 and remaining 4 are 0. So after this add B, you will get the answer 0D in accumulator, and that answer we are asked to store at 4500. So we used instruction STA, store accumulator direct, where memory location, which is asked here in the statement. So in this program, what we understood, since there is only one byte, we don't require carry for counter for number of bytes. And secondly, since it is an addition of nibbles, nibble means 2 digits of a given byte, no counter is required for here carry. Okay, so this is the program where we don't require any counter. Very important thing. Now here, write an assembly language program to separate 2 nibbles. Here we have separated 2 nibbles, means 2 digits, and we have added that. So I hope here you must have understood here the logic. What is the logic? As I said, the logic of the only 1 or 2 key instructions are there. So here the key instruction logic of the program is to rotate it 4 times. Okay, and another key instruction here is ANI 0, because we need to separate the 2 nibbles. And result, store it at 4500. We use STA. Now let us go to the next program. Here, this is program number 2. See the statement here. 2 bytes are stored in 3500 and 3501H respectively. Write an assembly language program to find the absolute difference and store the result in the memory location 3550. Okay. Now in this statement, what we understand from the statement here, again, only 2 bytes are there. So as I said, we require counter for number of bytes when the bytes are more than 2. Now since only 2 bytes are there, we don't require counter for bytes. That is one thing is clear. Secondly, this is the absolute difference is nothing but the program of subtraction of 2 bytes. Absolute difference is the program of subtraction. But what is the basic difference between subtraction program and absolute difference program? In absolute difference program, your result is always positive. Means even if you subtract the bigger number from the smaller number, still you'll have to convert that number, which is your the answer which you get in minus, that should be converted into plus again. That is why at the end of this program, your answer in the memory location or accumulator is always positive. So basically it's a subtraction program. And since only 2 bytes are there, we don't require counter for number of bytes, and it's a subtraction program. So no carry counter is also required in this. So directly we start with the program with the instruction Alexa H3520H. Why 3520? Because this is your first memory location where the first byte is stored. Now we know that without getting that byte in accumulator, we cannot do any operation. So bring that byte to accumulator by using the instruction move A, M. Move the contents of memory. Which memory? Whose address is given in HL pair. Now what address is given in HL pair? 3520. So the first byte in 3520 moved to the accumulator. Now from this, we'll have to subtract the second byte. So to go to the next byte, we use the instruction INX H. And then subtract M. Why M again? Because your second byte is in the memory. Now here, we don't see which byte is bigger, whether the first byte is bigger or second byte is bigger. you'll have to write the generalized program. So if the second byte is bigger, then you will get the answer at the end of this subtract m, you will get the answer in minus. If the first byte is bigger, then the no question of negative sign, you will get the plus answer. So in this case, suppose if you are taking the number as 0a and you are subtracting say 0.5 from that. So 0a is 10, and if you subtract 0.5 from that, then in that case, what will happen? Your answer is 5. So now here the next instruction is jump no carry. Now why jump no carry? If you are subtracting the second number and if that number is bigger than, let us assume that you are subtracting 5 from 3. So 3 minus 5 is minus 2. So minus 2 means what? That negative sign. Here we check for carry. Actually that is nothing but carry. There is no carry, but it's a borrow. It's a borrow. And here borrow we use in terms of carry. So if you are subtracting the bigger number from the smaller number, then there is a carry generated. But if you subtract smaller number from the bigger number, then there is no carry. So suppose if we are taking, say we subtract 3 from 5, means 5 minus 3, your answer is plus 2 and no carry will get generated. So if there is no carry, directly it will go to the label next. What is that label? Next label, it will directly go to STA instruction because you got the answer. As I said, it is absolute difference is a simple subtraction program. And if your answer is positive, then directly you can store the result. That is positive answer. But if your answer is negative, if you are subtracting 5 from 3, then in that case, you will have to take the 2's complement of that answer. 2's complement of the answer. And for that, we use instruction CMA. Complement the contents of accumulator. Your answer is always in accumulator, as you know. So complement the contents of accumulator. This CMA will give the one's complement, and then when you add 1 to that one's complement, how to add 1? Either you can use INRA or ADI01. INRA means increment accumulator by 1. It is increment accumulator by 1 means adding 1 to the accumulator. So by using these two instructions, CMA and INRA, you can convert your negative answer into positive. And then once you get the answer in accumulator positive, you can straightway store it to the asked memory location. In this case, it is 3550. So if you are subtracting now, when we take two numbers, we don't see that whether the first number is bigger or a second number is bigger. Straightway we take the first number in accumulator and then we subtract the second number from the first number. If there is no carry means your first number is bigger and directly you store the result. So jump no carry to next. Next is what? STA 3550. Now, if you are subtracting the bigger number from the smaller number, then your answer is negative. And to convert that negative answer into positive, we use these two instructions, CMA and INRA. These two instructions will take this CMA and INRA gives you the 2's complement of the result, which is nothing but your positive answer. So, and then once you get the positive answer, that you'll have to store it in the 3550. So this is another program in which we don't require counter for number of bytes because only 2 bytes are there, and it's a simple subtraction program. We don't require counter for carry also because we need not to store carry anywhere in this program. So this is the second program. Now let us go to the third program. Now this is third program. Here again see the statement. 2 bytes are stored in consecutive memory locations starting from 3500H. So 2 bytes are stored in 3500 and 3501. Write an assembly language program to add both the numbers, means both the bytes, and store the result in the memory location starting from 3520. Now see the difference between the previous statement and this statement. In the first program, we have added 2 nibble, but here you are adding 2 bytes. You are adding 2 bytes here. Add the 2 bytes. Both the numbers means 2 bytes. And when 2 bytes are there, then we always require a counter for carry. That is one thing. So you require one counter for carry. But since only 2 numbers are there or 2 bytes are there, you don't require counter for number of bytes. So in this case, you don't require counter for number of bytes. Why? We are adding only 2 bytes. but you require a counter for carry because you are adding 2 bytes. You are not adding 2 digits. Okay. So when 2 bytes or more than 2 bytes are added, then we require a counter. So one counter only required, and then that counter initially we take it as 0, 0. So by using instruction MVIB, B register B, I am initializing as 0, 0. B is my counter for carry. And now start your program by using instruction LXI. Your first byte is in 3500. So LXI H3500. Then to this, I want to add the second byte. So first you get that byte to the accumulator by using instruction move A, M. We bring the first byte to accumulator. And then to go to the next byte, INXH, increment HL pair. So when you write INXH, your HL pair will be incremented by 1, means the pointer will point to 3501. And the pointer, now the byte which is stored at 3501, that is to be added to the accumulator. In the first byte, we use instruction add M. Add M. Again, why M here? Because your byte is in the memory location. So when you write add M, then 2 bytes will get added, and then there is a chance of generation of carry. Because if your addition exceeds FF, hexadecimal FF, then it will generate a carry. So if there is no carry, then directly you can store the, and we know that when there is an addition program, then lower order byte, your result is 16-bit or 2-byte result, and lower order byte is always stored in the accumulator. So store the lower order byte at 3520 because it is asked to store the result starting from 3520. So this 3520 is the memory location where we are supposed to add the lower order byte, and your lower order byte is always present in the accumulator. Using instruction STA, we move the result, which is your lower order byte of the result, to 3520. And where is your higher order byte? Higher order byte is in register B, if at all the carry generates. If not, then it will remain 00. But that again, you will have to store it in the next memory location. This is your higher order byte. So again, I move that contents of B to accumulator and then store it again in 3521 and stop the execution. So in this program, what we understood, since only 2 bytes are, we are adding only 2 bytes, then no counter is required for number of bytes. But since the addition of bytes are there, we need a counter for carry if at all it is generated. So we initialize the counter MVIB 00 here. So after this, after seeing all these 3 programs, I hope you understood now how to initialize counter and how to decide the counter, because counter plays very important role in your program. Why? Actually, if you assign the counter properly, first you'll have to decide the counter and then you'll have to assign it properly. If your counter is wrong, if it is assigned wrong, then whatever result you will get, even though the entire program is correct, your logic is correct, but you don't get the expected result. And in that case, there are chances of marks cutting. 100% your marks will get cut and you will get just 1 or 2 marks. So very, very important things. In my first video also, I told you that you'll have to decide the number of counters and you'll have to assign it properly. Okay, depending on whether it is given in memory location or it is given in directly in the program itself. So these 3 programs will tell you how the counter is required or how the counter is not required in the program. So I think after these 3 programs, now it is clear to you how the counters are assigned in the program. Right? Now, I think this is sufficient for today. Just go through this, and if you like this video, then you can pass it on to your friends. And I hope these 3 programs and this video very, very useful to you. Another thing in this program, in 3rd program, I just want to mention here 2 bytes are stored in consecutive memory location starting from 350. instead of 2 bytes, if the word BCD is added over here, if the word BCD is added, then the program remains the same. Only one instruction you'll have to add in the program after this add M instruction, that is DAA, which we have already seen in my first video. So rest of the program remains the same. No counter will change, nothing will change. Only one instruction you need to add after this add M, DAA, because that will be a program of BCD, binary coded addition. Instead of 2 bytes, if 2 BCD bytes are there. If the same program is there for the BCD bytes addition, then one DA instruction you need to add after this add M, and rest of the program remains the same. So this is all about today's video. I'll stop here. Thank you.